Without further ado, please allow me to introduce Dolores Huerta.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the generous introduction, and it's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to see that you have this great festival. We've definitely got to get more publicity for you down there in Bakersfield, right? Because, I mean, people need to come up here. This is gorgeous. This is really, and it's wonderful that we can celebrate freedom and political activity, the things that we need to do, and then do it in such a beautiful, beautiful way as you're doing with this festival. Basically, my organization, the Dolores Huerta Foundation for Community Organizing, what I do is I raise money, hire organizers, train them, send them into communities of disadvantaged people to show them how they could really make changes. You know, they may be poor, they may not have any assets, many of them do not speak the English language, most of them are immigrants. But, you know, they have power, right? And the power is, of course, in their own individual person. And if they come together with other people, then that's the way that they can make changes. And it's incredible. I was just relating to one of the gentlemen back here that we have been organizing in Southern Kern County, down there in Lamont and Arvin and Wheat Patch. Remember Grapes of Wrath? Wheat Patch, right? It's still there. Still in pretty bad shape, the way that John Steinbeck described it in the Grapes of Wrath. Except instead of having Tom Joad now, you have the Jose Garcia and Jose Lopez, right? And Maria, you know. And anyway, those people have come together right now, and they've done some great stuff. We have one of our little committees down there in Wheat Patch that actually passed a bond issue to get a gymnasium built at their middle school. And that's what they did. And we've got, down there in Lamont, we've gotten 11 streets now that have curbs and sidewalks that they didn't have. In Arvin, with all of this hot weather, kids down there didn't have a swimming pool. The kids in Arvin now have a swimming pool. Kids in Lamont have a swimming pool. And so this is what our committees do. We have 27 homes down there, also in Wheat Patch, that didn't have sewers. They were, you know, these families, because their septic tanks would fill up so often, they were out there putting makeshift showers with their garden hoses and washing their dishes in the backyard and bathing in the backyard. Well, happy to report, we've been working on that one, and they're going to get their sewer, and it's only going to cost them $50 a family, right, to get that done. But the beautiful part about all of this is that they do the work. You know, we organize them, tell them you've got power, you've got to go out there and you've got to do it. And of course they are doing it. And of course now, like all of you, we are working on the national health care issue. So a bunch of us got together the other day, and we decided we'd kind of put a little pressure on our congressman, whose name is Jim Costa. You know, they talk about these blue dog Democrats. We're going to call them yellow dog Democrats, right? Yellow dogs, you know. You know, in the union movement, when you sign what they call a yellow dog contract, that means you sign a contract that's more favorable to the boss and to the employer than it is to the workers. Well, these blue dog, yellow dog Democrats, that's what they're doing. You know, they are out there really supporting the insurance companies and not really supporting the working people when it comes to getting the public option or the government section of the National Health Care Plan. And it's even worse than that. What they're doing by taking these positions is that they are whittling down the national health care because they are giving the insurance companies some aiding and abetting them to help them whittle down the kinds of benefits that people can get under the National Health Care Plan. So that is kind of our big issue that we're working on right now. We're also doing a big postcard campaign. We're close to 2,000 postcards, and we hope by next week, or week after next, we're going to have a press conference and just take these postcards down to Mr. Costa's office. Now, the interesting thing about this, by the way, Mr. Costa's district is that Arvin, Wheat Patch, Lamont, East Bakersfield, Delano, goes up into Tulare County and into Fresno County. It's like a string bean, but it's all of the poor areas. All of the poor areas. By the way, Costa, it sounds like it might be a Mexican-American, Central American name. Well, he gets elected because in these districts we're heavily Latino, because people think he is a Mexican-American, a Central American. Actually, he's Portuguese. Nothing against the Portuguese, okay? They're great. But this guy, let me tell you, he's got to go, okay? He has got to go because he has never been there for working people ever. And of course, everybody supports him because he's a Democrat, but he needs to be taken out. But the interesting thing, I was in Washington a couple of weeks ago with Nancy Pelosi, did a press conference on the public option, and then I spoke to some of Costa's staff, and they told me that 85% of the emails that they are getting, the letters that they are getting, are against the public option. And what happens is that you get, the right wing and those conservatives, they're organized. And they do that. They email, they write letters to the editors, etc. And they're active. On our side, we need to get a lot more active. Now, we know, according to the news this morning, that the tide is turning. It looks now that the surveys that they're doing show that more people are favoring the public option. I just got a phone call from my vice president of my organization, and he told me he was talking to Pelosi's people. He's in D.C. right now. They are 8 votes short. 8 votes short right now on the floor of the Congress, House of Representatives, to get a good bill with a public option. So that means we've got to step it up, right? We've got to step it up. We've got to make sure we get those emails in there. And each one of us, in the farm workers movement, we used to like to say, every worker's an organizer. Well, I think every one of us activists, we have to be an organizer. And it's not enough for us to pick up the phone, or send that email. Let's each one of us try to get 10 other people to do that, okay? 10 other people to do that. And I don't care how much money the insurance companies have. Eventually, every single politician knows that what they have to count on are the votes that get them elected. And this is a really good time to educate all of those other people that might be Republican light or Republican heavy or yellow dog Democrat, whatever, to get people on the right page so that we can come together and we can really do something for our country, which is to get a national health care. It is amazing that we are the only developed country in the world that does not have national health care. Isn't that amazing? The only country in the world. Even, Cuba, Venezuela, even Mexico. Under their social security system in Mexico is a health care system. Every worker in Mexico is covered with their national health care. And in fact, if you're a Mexican citizen in the United States, for $400 a year, you can tie into a clinic in Mexico and you can have a health coverage for your entire family in any of the clinics in Mexico, the whole state of Mexico. So you can see how far behind that we are. And I just want to make another comment because I heard when I was walking up, I heard somebody talking about oil, right? And I'm sure a lot of you know this, but here in Kern County, 48% of the oil in this state comes from Kern County. And our legislature would not vote to tax the oil companies for what they call a depletion tax. That means that the oil that they take out of the ground, that should be taxed. That's what they do in Texas. That's what they do in Louisiana. But we don't do it in California. And they needed that, they got that 2/3 problem that they have in the legislature, that they need the 2/3 vote. And they just needed one more vote to get that passed, okay? The other thing, when we talk about being the only country that doesn't have national health care, we are the only developed country that does not own their natural resources. Think about that one. Norway, which is a very small country, has $400 billion surplus in their treasury. $400 billion. And you know where that money's coming from? Their oil. Their oil, right? So, hey, something's wrong with us that we don't own our own oil. We don't own our own electricity. We don't even own our water, right? So I think this is stuff that we have to think about for future and think about in terms of the people that we send to office, that they got to fight for us. They got to fight for the people of our country, okay? They've got to do this because we are just being ripped off left and right. And we have a great saying in the farm workers movement, and of course one that Obama used, as you all know, yes we can. But that really started with the farm workers movement, and in fact, I initiated that, and we call it Si Se Puede, okay? So let's all do it together. I think we have just a little short window of time to work on this national health care. They think the vote is going to come down before Thanksgiving, and so we really have to work really hard and really get activated to make sure we can win this, and we can do it. And if we don't win it now, folks, it may never happen, okay? That's how really critical, I guess, this issue is right now. So let's all put up our hands together and let's do a big old Si Se Puede, okay? That means yes, we can make it happen. Put your hands up together, folks, and let's do it. Si Se Puede. Si Se Puede, Si Se Puede, Si Se Puede. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.